want to look at some few things that will help us exempt ourselves from this thing which is in the times, as it were. The first thing I want to say is this. There's a law that governs the earth today, according to Genesis chapter 8 from verse 20. That law is called the law of seed time harvest. If you want to get things by the laws of the earth and on the earth, there must be a valuable product or service you are rendering. It's an exchange. It's the law of seed time harvest. There must be a valuable thing. There must be what? A valuable thing. Joseph had a relevant skill and product that was making people look for him. Not only was he a dream interpreter, he was somebody who was very diligent. If you give him something to do, an assignment, he would do it so well. You remember when he was in the house of Potiphar, he served Potiphar so well that Potiphar had to hand everything over to him. The Bible says, seest thou a man diligent in what? His business. So you must have a relevant place. Whether it's what? Also a Jacob. Jacob also had relevant things he was doing. Whether it was a David, David also had relevant things. You remember that David, at a point, he was taking care of sheep. And the king used to have a problem which they needed somebody that was an instrumentalist to take care of. David was so skilled in playing that harp that somebody said, there is this son of who? Jesse. And imagine when the king has a need and you will be the reference. Whether it was Daniel, I was it. Somebody who was very close to me was walking somewhere. And I will come out and tell it to anybody who cared to hear that the person was unsackable. And I wasn't saying it, I wasn't joking about it. Not only did I know that this person is very, very diligent, very diligent. They can't do without him. I also knew that the second part of this discussion we're going to be having, the person had very powerful spiritual backing. The reason why people say there's no job is because they don't understand what work is. It is the set of activities you carry out to cause an unseen thing to become seen. So if you have a dream or a desire and you want it to come into the physical, two things you must have to do is, number one, you must give that thing time. I've explained this to you. In the realm of eternity, there is no time there. Chronos doesn't work there. But immediately you want something to land here, you have to give it time. That's why you see some people, they'll tell you, since I did, be like, say, I want to do this program, and I want to do this program. And next year, they are still telling you the same thing. You know why? You know the reason why they've not done it? They've not put time to that thing, that idea. When you put time to it, you authorize it to happen, to be battered here. You see those people that came up about that time that government stopped giving people work? They never found their feet. Because their expectation was that government was going to give them job, and they never did. And they never knew that it was possible for you to find a way to settle yourself. Now, why am I trying to trace all of this? So that you can understand what work is. If you understand what work is, you won't lack it. So, for example, now, you live in a system. You live in a place. And you are a musician, for example. You want to become a very great musician. Very great musician. And there's this other person here who wants to be an engineer. Maybe there's this third guy here who wants to be the best footballer on earth. Do you know that the process of batting these three realities in the lives of these three people are not the same? Their work is not the same. For example, that guy that wants to be a great musician and music producer, he can wake up in the morning and put earphone in his ear and block it completely and be doing like this. Do you know he's working? If that guy that wants to read medicine or engineering is doing it, that's not the work that will bat that she wants. So that guy that wants to be the football star wakes up 3 a.m. He's juggling. You that wants to do engineering, You follow him. You are turning his work, which is supposed to be a recreation to you, into your own work. So what you will birth is not the desire. So there is different work for different things. The major employer of labor now is the private sector. And the private sector does not employ by sentiment. Many of you here run some small things. Let me assume you run a small shop and you sell things there. And you have set a goal that, okay, this year I want to make 100 million naira turnover. And to make 100 million naira turnover, I have to sell 10,000 of these products. 10,000 of these products. So that means, okay, if I have to engage maybe 10 marketing people, and I have to give them targets to do that. If you, because of what you want to achieve, now write vacancy, what is going to happen? If somebody is not delivering on those results, you are going to send that person away. I say your own company. So why is it that when you expect that you are going to get a job in a bigger establishment, you think that you are going to get it by begging and not adding value? Your life will be beautiful. See, find out the relevant skills. The relevant skills. There are relevant skills that are needed now. When I used to have somebody very close to me, a human resources manager of a group of companies that covered Africa and West Africa. Every time he would send me list of jobs, I can't find a person to fill it. Not one person. At the time, I had to tell him to go to our village and start running program in the church for young people. But they won't receive it. They'll think you're telling them nonsense. If you have the relevant skills, you'll be looked for. What I'm telling you is reality. If you're a young person here, don't go and just study something because they are studying it. Find out what is the future of that thing. Which industry needs it? There is no industry today that has to thrive that does not need a particular kind of very critical skills. The only thing they give to relations are things that are common. Some time ago, we were doing contracts, and see these towels. Used to use towels, supplying towels, and all of those things. That time, monogramming. This they call monogramming. This you see them write on towels and everything now. It's common. That time, to find where they do it, I don't think there was any place they were doing it anywhere around. So that time it was something good. If you're monogramming towels, then they want to give items for Christmas. But when the monogramming services began to come locally, those people, those buyers began to now give it to their girlfriends and their mothers. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So you shift and find another one. It's going to be difficult too. It's good to also know how to recognize opportunities. Very important. Let me give you a quick example. I've told everybody, anybody who's here, who's connected to me, don't form the habit of complaining and murmuring. If you're a complainer and a murmurer, you can never see or recognize opportunity. And if you're a complainer and a murmurer, you are also going to attract the hand of the devil. Now, many of us are looking at government inefficiencies. Government is inefficient. Do you know that the inefficiencies of government has been a source of major business for people who are in business? The private hospitals came up because of the inefficiency of the government when it comes to healthcare. There are people who have become wealthy in running schools. Why? Because of the inefficiency of government in the education system. The generator companies that are sabotaging everything is because of the inefficiency of the power supply. But if you are somebody who is complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining, you will not recognize the opportunities in the inefficiencies of government. You will not use it and be gisting. Every need or every cry, every pain you hear is a voice shouting for you, I need solution. May God raise solutions in this house today.